What's the moment you realized a friend of yours was a huge piece of shit? He told our friend that their mom's death from cancer was karma against them for calling him out on his bullshit on a public Facebook post. I never spoke to him again. When my house and business burned, only one friend of mine came around to help out. Everyone just disappeared until my insurance check came, then people started coming around again. By then I knew who my one true friend really was. Most people don't figure out until it's far too late that their real friends can usually be counted on one hand. My best friend tried to split me and my wife up because he wanted to sleep with her. I live with my ex-best friend's ex-wife. He asked me what the hell I thought I was doing. I said, keeping my word. You once told me you wanted me to take care of your wife and daughter if anything happened to you. Dude, something happened, you became a hopeless meth addict. When he told me he really needed some money because he was out of a job at the time, I lent him $40 only to find out that he used that as admission to a vape contest. He lost. When my boss called him to ask him why he hadn't been to work in a week, and he blamed me. I was in on the conference call at the time. How in the hell can you prevent someone from going to work? Did you steal his bus pass? His car keys? Did you prop up your 4 pit bulls at his front door and advise them to bite him if he leaves? No, that's what I wanted to do, after I heard him say it. What makes it worse was this call, was my boss confronting him about stealing money from the business. I haven't talked to him since that phone call. When I realized he had a very fuzzy definition of consent and age of consent, I confronted him about it. In the process, I told him that if he so much as looked crosswise at my daughter, there would be consequences. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Bring it." Close friend of mine admitted he was really struggling with depression. I gave him a hug and some reassurances. Our other friend told him to stop being a pussy and that depression doesn't exist. We've both been friends with him for about 8 years, but after that we haven't seen him since. When he in passing casually talked about how he had hit a cyclist with his car and just drove off. After further questioning, it was confirmed that it was not soft contact and the cyclist went down hard. I run gaming tournaments, and I helped a guy start up his own league in the next city over. I was an official in his league, helped get the word out and brought food to share each league night. Things were great for a couple seasons. The league took off and was a huge success. After that, he turned into an a-hole. He started scheduling his league right on top of mine, even though we shared a lot of players because we were located fairly close together. I tried to reason with him, and he wouldn't budge, and took it as me dictating to him when he was allowed to run his league nights. Even his own players agreed he was being douchey, so I told him, "It would never even occur to me to schedule an event on top of yours because I respect the time and effort we both put into this. No friend of mine would do that to me. Do what you're going to do, and I hope the loss of our friendship was worth it." This just recently happened. I have a friend whose dog got out of their fenced-in yard and was picked up by the pound. It costs $40 to get him out, but they didn't do it because it's too expensive. They'd had this dog for years and he's not worth $40 to you. He's part pit bull, so he was euthanized because they didn't come get him. He was only 4 years old and was a super friendly, happy dog. It really bothers me. I didn't know about it until afterwards. If she had told me, I would have freaking paid for him to get out. I just don't get it, and I've had a hard time even talking her since I found this out. I loved that dog and he did not deserve to die. They knew he could get out of the yard yet kept rolling the dice and leaving him out there. I let her stay at my house when my son was very young. I was a single mom. I told her, "No men, no drugs, I have a little kid." That obviously didn't work, because I woke up 2 days later to a scummy-looking guy in his underwear going through my refrigerator. And then it was a different guy after that. And a different guy. If you want to sleep around, cool, just don't bring people who are strangers to me into my house to scope the place and potentially endanger my kid. Then the drug use started. "I told you no drugs, it's just weed," she says. Then it was just pain pills. Then it was, "I'm at the hospital because I overdosed on a speedball." When he asked me to grab a coffee with him, and then he spent 2 hours berating me because he thought I was trying to steal his girlfriend, another mutual friend, from him. She had been confiding in me about his emotionally manipulative habits and wanted to know my opinion, and I was frank with her. After she broke up with him, he and his family solely blamed me, and after a brief period of harassment, he hasn't spoken or acknowledged me since. Good riddance. But the joke is on him because his ex and I are still very good friends. She told everyone my personal struggles with depression after she told me that I could talk to her without worrying about people finding out. Then made me a villain in the friend group and also stole hundreds of dollars worth of stuff from me and backed out of a lease a week before moving in. He tried to ride off on his motorcycle after drinking a 12-pack and downing Jell-O shots all night so he could go see his biker buddies. I stopped him. He has a wife and 2 kids, and whoever else he could have possibly killed would have a family too. He proceeded to try to pick a fight with me, call me every name in the book, and then threatened to have his biker buddies come over and teach me a lesson about their brotherhood. Kicked him off my property, had his wife pick him up and told him to never come back again. Any man who would threaten a friend like that and risk abandoning his family to go see his motorcycle club brothers is a douchebag that I don't want in my life. Last year I got divorced, and because of that I started reconnecting with old friends. I went to my friend's house and we were talking, and I asked how his brothers were doing. He informed me that his one brother had started dating a girl I knew from high school. We were absolute best friends, the girl and I, in HS. He said that it was causing a huge rift in the family because she was causing all kinds of problems with him. Fast forward to just this past week and I reconnect with said girl. As I said, this girl and I were best friends in high school, so we quickly picked right up from where we had left off, and through our conversations she was telling me about how the guy she was dating, who I was also great friends with, was actually off his fucking rockers and both mentally and physically abusive. Hearing her side of it brought a lot of other stuff I had heard over the years into the light as truth. But what really sealed the deal was her video evidence of him physically assaulting her, and talking about how he wanted her to call the cops because he wanted them to kill him. So yeah, I found out that someone I considered to be a good friend was truly a piece of shit with severe mental issues that he refuses to get help for. He sold our other friend's car while he was away. But the dude who had his car stolen still had his title, so he got the car back. Not a close friend, but a guy in our circle of friends. Too much stuff ended up missing, not big stuff, just little things like tools or knickknacks. One day he lost his job. He said it was just a slowdown in business. About a month later I ran into a former coworker of his. It turns out the place my friend used to work, instead of vending machines, had some trays of chips and candy snack that worked by the honor system. You put some money in a box and took whatever snack you wanted. Not only did the company give warnings about shortages from the trays, but someone saw him taking the money from the payment box. A lot more stuff made sense after that. We were celebrating her 24th birthday and went to a club, her, me and some people from her work. Before going to the toilet I left her my bag and told her I'd be right back. When I came back, the table we had been sitting at was deserted. Half the people were at the bar and half on the dance floor. To keep the table they had left my bag, wallet and phone was missing. Birthday girl's comment, "Oops, sorry." You may be the only woman in existence that would go to the bathroom without their bag. When she made plans with me to an amusement park for a girls' day out, and when I showed up at her house that morning I learned she'd left a few hours earlier to go away for the weekend with my boyfriend. I had this friend during freshman year of college who's also my blockmate. We had the same classes and shit, and we got along because he's a funny dude. Then one day, he borrowed my phone because his phone is broken, and he needs to PM someone important. So I lent him my phone, but I forgot about it and only realized a few hours later. He told me he left it in the cafeteria, and sure enough, it was gone. It was a cheapo phone, but the way he handled it, he showed no care at all and gave off a vibe of, "Mess sucks to be you, I guess." I should have realized at that time, but it kept piling up. He started smoking heavily, stopped coming to classes, so we had to make up for his part of the group project in order for us to pass. Then, he lost touch with us after that. He was about to come back to high school, after going to alternative school. He had come to my house because his and my parents were hanging out. He told me, "Don't worry if I don't talk to you at school," and then told me I was his ugliest friend on the same day. I've been so much happier without him. When she pinched me and then said, "Pinching causes cancer," we were 10 at the time, so naturally I was a bit fearful. Best friend in high school stole my diary from my secret hiding place, read it, then gave it back to me wrapped as a birthday present. while adding how pathetic I was. I can relate to an invasion of privacy like this. My loser brother would read my journal, and I had proof because this a-hole would write fucking comments. He has never understood or respected other people's privacy. As grown goddamn adults, this idiot still does not give a shit about privacy. And he wonders why I blow the fuck up at him when I see him enter my bedroom like he owns the place. He doesn't even pay any bills. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.